Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Geomologist Presents. Today, we're going to play a game that we've been promising on the channel for quite a while. We just haven't gotten to it. And this game is going to be the new or latest offering, one of the latest offering from Modifius in their 2D20 system. And this is going to be a game of Cohors Cthulhu. We are going to run through the quick start adventure, Rude Awakening. It might be more than one episode, so hold on. And I hope you enjoy and like it. And with me today are actually, just as an addendum, we also helped to play test some of the Cohors Cthulhu. So I guess all the bad things that occurred are all our fault. No, I don't know. No, but Amy, who's joining me, and then Arlen also participated in the playtest, and we have in the quick start playtest credit. And who are you playing today, Arlen and Amy? We'll go Arlen first.
Hi, I'm Arlen. I'm playing I'm gonna say Egino, but I guess it could be Egino. But he is a Germanic priest of Tiwaz, which is the sort of West Germanic cognate or not cognate, but West Germanic equivalent of Tyr, who in Norse mythology is one of the deities of war and law. But of course, most of the gods in Norse mythology have war somewhere in there, so law is sort of more his thing. Anyway, and he's kind of an older man. He's a tribal elder, has access to a couple of spells, which is pretty cool because spells can do some pretty wild things in this game.
Yes.
And he is attempting to search for answers about a sort of troubling set of occurrences that have happened among his people, um, the affliction of some sort of nefarious curse that he does not understand, despite being quite knowledgeable in the culture and the lore of his Germanic forebears, and so he is searching to understand it.
All right. And Amy is playing.
Gerfrid. She is a dramatic, she's a nomad, but within her tribe, she was just a bowman and a spearman, and she enjoyed hunting, and she would come back with different relics, loved being in the forest. She's a little bit of an introvert. She would rather be sleeping under a blanket of trees than with a whole bunch of people. She really, really in her life wants to make that one kill that everyone will look at her and be, now that's a hunter, just all the accolades that go with it, like the biggest moose or the greatest steed, or if she finds out they exist, perhaps a dragon. But that's perfect.
Okay. All right. So it's pretty interesting that you both picked the Germanic characters out of the cohort of characters that could have been selected. So do you think that Egino and Gerfrid know each other and have
I would
traveled together? Probably.
I would think if he's like the elder of the tribe, I'm sure Gerfrid went to him for advice, and just she really respects him.
Yeah.
Plus he makes magic happen, and magic comes from the gods, so to her he's like a god.
Like a god.
Mhm.
All right. So it seems like the Cohors Cthulhu, which is actually the same like verse as Achtung Cthulhu, but an earlier time period during the Roman period. Um, and and I think this adventure is, I believe, is set in second century, yeah, late second century or early third century Roman period along the Germanic frontier.
Mm.
Arlen may correct me if things seem anachronistic. He is the resident historian in our gaming circle. And so I feel like uh, Cohors Cthulhu, much like Achtung Cthulhu, runs very similar and is almost like almost standard Modifius 2d20. So, you roll 2d20 to make a skill test, for example, 2d20 attribute plus skill, and you roll equal to or under. And you get a number of successes. Usually you only need one, but sometimes you need more depending on the difficulty of the test. And the attributes are mostly self-explanatory, but Cohors Cthulhu has one called gravitas, which I feel is like charisma or presence in large amounts. It makes characters good orators and ideal leaders, ones who can easily command authority and respect or persuade with a few well-chosen words. So that's maybe a vocabulary term, at least for me, that is not, sort of self-evident. So I think the skills are pretty standard. And the other interesting thing they do is they have focuses or foci. I think foci is I don't know why I say focuses. It's foci, right?
You probably pronounce it foci, right? Because
Foci.
it, well,
Hmm.
because that, right, it's like a Greek root, right? So you use a K instead of a C sound.
Oh,
Or,
interesting. Okay. Oh,
right.
well, they put focuses in the book, but perhaps it is
Yes.
foci. But they allow character to demonstrate greater specialization with the skill, giving sort of advanced training. And if a focus is applicable to the task the character is trying to accomplish, it increases their chance of critically succeeding on the relevant skill test. So if the focus applies, say for example, and I know for Gerfrid, she has hunting, and if she's using survival and hunting applies, then if she rolls under her survival skill, then that would count as 2 successes. So I think that's a little different. Um, both characters also have, so their truth, a truth can reduce the difficulty of a skill test by 1. That is very similar to Achtung Cthulhu. And interestingly, both characters have a secret truth. It says I have a secret on their character, and they can. It's like an unnamed truth at the start of the adventure, and during the course of the adventure, they can make it a real truth. They just say this is applies here, and this is my new truth, which is kind of neat. Um, just as standard, you can always buy dice and give me threat. The GMs have a threat meter, and the players have a momentum pool. And I can use threat just like they use momentum, or sometimes monsters or scenes require a certain amount of threat to do something or for something to happen. The other rules thing is fortune. That's a little blue dot on the characters. Each character has 1 fortune, and fortune is actually a pretty powerful bit of meta currency. So when you spend a fortune, you can only spend 1 per scene. A character spends a fortune point before making a skill test, and it automatically gives a result of a 1, so that would be a critical success. And then they roll the rest of the dice in the pool that they've created. It also can allow you to re-roll the dice in a pool that you have, or challenge dice. So you can use it for re-rolling um, your attack, your kind of D20 pool, or your challenge dice. So that's pretty interesting. So if you get a lot of successes, for example, might as well use them on those challenge dice. You can also use a fortune to do an additional major action, also avoid defeat, and make it happen. So create a new truth contingent on approval by the GM. So I think that is it. Do we need to explain attack, damage, and injuries, or is that easy to understand and kind of standard?
I think
What do you
it's
guys?
pretty standard. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about, we each have a personal agenda.
Yeah, the personal agenda. Let me see. It didn't say that you had to use fortune, for example, in the capacity of your personal agenda. I didn't see that. Yeah, it doesn't really say, what. how that works. But let me look that up in the.
Unless Arlen knows.
Yeah.
I think personal agenda is just sort of your character's kind of role-playing goals.
Yeah, but I don't think it doesn't
Uh,
contribute mechanically, I don't think.
well, I think it does contribute mechanically for character creation. That your background and agenda and characteristic all contribute to certain like special, like they give you specific skill unlocks and things like that.
Oh, and maybe with regards to like advancement, like if you follow your personal agenda, then you get an XP or something like that
Yeah,
in the full rule book.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sorry to sidetrack us.
It's all right. I could be wrong. Someone might comment that I'm incorrect.
They can leave it down in the comment section below and share it to Modifius because it's not explained well enough.
But it probably is in the main rule book.
Perhaps,
So,
but that's not out quite yet.
it is actually, the PDFs are being distributed out to and by the time this publishes, but so the PDFs have been distributed at the time of recording to Kickstarter backers, and I think they're still editing and looking for, making sure the edits are correct and all that kind of stuff. Like in the character sheet, we notice perception versus observation.
Correct.
All of this is in the quick start. Okay. All right. So let's go. All right. Any questions about the rules before we start, or any other things that we might have left out?
No.
All right.
Gerfrid is just going to follow Igno wherever he wants to go because he's her leader.
Okay. Well, a short time ago, you joined a small caravan for a journey to the town of Laurium, having heard these frontier roads to be a perilous, and seeing the benefit of mutual protection. Other than your group, the caravan included two wagons laden with an assortment of tradable provisions owned by a trio of merchants, each escorted by hired guards. The caravan was led by a Roman named Caius Vaginius Velus, who took on the role of caravan master. After a damp morning with light rain, the spring day had warmed up and become an almost enjoyable afternoon as you traveled along the rutted road until, on entering a denser stretch of woods, everything around you became a frenzied tumult. There had been no warning of imminent attack, no shouted demands by what you assumed must be bandits, just incoherent screams and roars as the caravan was beset. A dozen enraged people spilled from the shadows, weapons in hand, their eyes wild and bloodshot as they lashed out at anyone they could reach. The drivers of the two wagons were pulled down from and brutally clubbed, even as the few mercenaries protecting the merchants drew their weapons and joined the melee. It was settled in a quick flurry of hacking blows, grunts of pain, and bodies falling to the muddied soil. You are among the few survivors. You can hear the hasty footfalls as most of the surviving attackers flee between the trees as suddenly as they had first arrived. You and the other survivors are scattered in disarray across a wide area around the wagons, both of which has been damaged in the fight, with the wheels shattered. The mules that had pulled them have been slain or have run off in a panic, leaving their burdens behind. The bodies of many of your former traveling companions and several of the attackers are bleeding out in the ground everywhere you look. You did not have time to take a concerted action during the battle. Each of you responded according to your instincts and nature, some of you drawing weapons to fight, others seeking cover or trying to withdraw to relative safety. Several of you might have suffered minor scrapes and bruises in the clash. As you take stock, you realize that one desperate melee is still underway. Caius Virginius Velus, the caravan master, is locked in a deadly clinch with a burly man in a stained tunic. A bloodied short blade is in the attacker's right hand, which Caius has seized to try to keep the weapon away from himself. You can see a deep rent in the caravan master's side. His tunic is now sopped with an alarming amount of blood. He's already been stabbed at least once, and his strength is waning. All right. So I guess I'm supposed to ask you about your positions relative to the wagons and to one another, and what you would have tried to do during the fight.
Gerfrid would have found cover behind a tree and gotten her bow out and been ready to try and from afar take people out. Like
Do you think she would have engaged directly with these attackers, or just really tried to keep her distance?
I don't think she would have. She would have gotten to the point where she could have cover and attack and fall back so that she's not easy to detect. Like I'm
Okay.
assuming she's probably standing behind a tree getting ready to shoot an arrow with the one attacking the cavern or the caravan master.
Okay.
Cassius.
And Arlen, what about a a Gino or a Gyno? How we're pronouncing it today.
That doesn't sound right.
I think Egino would have a little similarly, maybe in his youth he would have rushed in to fight, but now he's kind of an older man. His strength is not what it once was. And I think he would have kind of similarly tried to find a spot where he could kind of stay out of the way if possible, and have his axe drawn and ready to defend himself if any of the enemies actually attacked him, but also ready to just sort of slip away if he has the chance.
Okay. So I guess Amy, your character wanted to take an action. So we're going to go into like an abbreviated or an abridged action scene, which you do have a chance to intervene. So I guess the way initiative works in a Modifius 2d20 is the player characters go first unless the GM interrupts. I have to spend threat to do that. And you can see the threat meter. I get 2 threat per player character to start. So, and these can increase with complications, etc., or when you buy dice from me. But so you guys can go first, and you can decide who you want to go first. I think Amy had an idea, but what say you, Arlen?
I'm fine for Amy to go first.
Okay.
I think Gerfrid would have made sure he's hidden behind a tree and kind of made it so that even if they see where the arrow's coming from, they would never see him.
Okay. Yeah. So give me, before you do that, I want to see if I can do something that makes sense. So give me a stealth roll.
Stealth?
Yeah. So let's do, yeah, let me see what's a good.
Is stealth insight or reason? Because I have a 3 in stealth, but
it could even be agility or coordination.
Do you want it to be coordination? It's up to you.
I think so. I think coordination is what it's attached to often in a lot of the other most common.
Okay.
But I think, but insight is a good, because you're like examining I would say the way, that's what I like about Modifius 20s is also you can choose what.
Yeah, like how you're approaching the situation and things like that.
I think, yeah, but I think Amy throwing out insight because, you're surveying the battlefield. You've been doing this the whole time, trying to gauge where other fighters are. I think you could use insight and stealth. So you need to roll.
I would think the way I see it is that she has set up like she's aiming like in any other game where you aim the one round and then shoot the next one.
Yeah. Well, I'm asking you to roll stealth to see if this guy notices you or notices where you're coming from. So,
well, stealth is 3 for me.
And if you want me to 11.
Yes. So then you want me to roll 2 d20s under 14.
Yep.
Okay, so 2 d20s under.
Do you want to buy any dice?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
I might change my mind after this, but we'll see.
We'll see. All right.
Nope,
So you got
1 success.
You got 1 success. All right. So he's not going to be able to use what I wanted to use for his threat because it would make no sense. So now you can take your actions for attack, a minor action and a major action. So I believe you can aim. Yeah, your major is to attack, but I think
Yeah.
your minor action could be to aim.
Mhm.
And I think aim allows you to re-roll a dice. Is that right? A free dice? Is that correct?
I don't know that I have aim. I was just,
It's just it's a minor action that anybody can do.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
And yes, I think it's reroll a missed D20.
Right.
Um
Yeah. We'll go with that and as I look it up.
Okay. So shooting would be my fighting, which is
Yes.
3. Plus, I'm assuming coordination or agility?
It's coordination.
Coordination. Okay, so it'd be 9 plus 3, so 2d20 under 12.
Yes.
and I have a special thing that I can do, which is I can say that I will whisper
Is that a
to
reaction?
you, Gerfrid, the gods guide you as a once per round as a reaction.
Oh.
You can generate 2 threat for the GM's threat pool to assist an ally when that ally takes an attack major action or makes a reason plus academia test. And it doesn't say what you should roll for this, so I'm assuming that it would be similar to like a spell that I'm just kind of giving a word of encouragement that is, me seeing beyond the veil, or at least implying it to someone to make them feel inspired.
So you give me 2 threat?
I give you 2 threat and I get to roll an assistance die.
Oh, nice. So so you get to roll 1 die.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then roll, so that's going to be a probably insight plus academia for you since you're a
Yeah. I think
yeah.
that's most of my where most of my wizard stuff comes from. So
Yeah. Okay, so you roll 1 dice and you'll see if that and see if that will aid. That's cool. It's a reaction.
That's cool. Griffith definitely appreciates it.
Yes.
all right.
Okay. So then if you succeed, Gerfrid, in your attack, you will get an extra success. So
Yeah,
go
as
ahead
long
and
as you
roll.
succeed with at least 1 die, you get
Yeah.
+1
So
from me.
Okay.
roll your coordination plus fighting, and then
So-
since you aimed, if you can re-roll one of those dice. So
Okay. So I'll roll it first and then we'll see.
yep.
Both of them were successful.
Wow. And one's a
Well, and
crit.
that
And
one
I
is
didn't
a
want to
crit.
re-roll anything.
Yeah. So you have 4 successes against this guy. So yep,
Oops, I closed my character accidentally.
so you have 4 successes. So then you would roll for damage, which
Yeah.
is
So it's
5.
it's a difficulty 2 normally, so
Yeah.
2 momentum.
Is that right?
Unless
So
it's
you,
more
1,
difficulty.
2, 1, 2, 4, 5. Yes, a difficulty 2.
Yeah.
So right. So you have 3 momentum then, right?
Yeah,
No.
on my second page.
3 momentum. So you can either use well, you have 5, so you have 5 dice, so you can roll those dice first and then see what you want to do with the extra momentum.
Okay, so
5d6.
5d6,
And we're
but
looking for 1s, 2s, 5s, and 6s.
so I have to get this off of here now. Right? Or I guess not.
No, just roll 5d6. We just look at 1s, 2s, 5s, and 6s for effect, for the damage and stuff. And you have 3 momentum in the bank. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 damage with the piercing 2 because you have piercing. Okay, I don't know if that. All right, that's actually appropriate. So you've done 1, 2, 3, 4 points of damage. Would you like to use those 3 momentum to roll 3 more dice of damage, or do you want to put them in the momentum pool, or a little of both?
I would rather put him in the momentum pool.
Well, you also might this is sort of a time to talk about the mechanics a bit. It seems like
Mhm.
that one of the momentum things is to create a truth, and one of the main things that truths do is either makes tests easier or harder. And so seems like you could say, even if you didn't bring down the target, you wounded him enough that he's going to have a hard time finishing off our intrepid caravan commander, and that your shot distracts him or
Wings him.
wings him, however you want it, we want to describe it, makes it harder for him to finish him off in this encounter, and adds a little difficulty to his actions.
That sounds good. So maybe my arrow goes right in between his elbow and his collarbone and dislocates his arm.
Yeah, to make him increase the difficulty for him to hit. So he's got, you winged him. I could say that. That's fine. Okay, and then so that'll cost only 2 momentum. So you want to bank that other momentum or just roll another dice?
I'll bank the one. I want to start keeping momentum because I think your stuff uses momentum too. I mean, I have stuff that I can use a momentum and cause
Yeah,
some.
there's definitely we can start as we build up some momentum, we're gonna start doing some more cool things.
Yeah.
What, I guess momentum is blue. Yes. Okay. Like, what is momentum? There. Okay. All right. So you hit him. It does not take him down. All right. But you've winged him, so it makes him harder, or he's distracted. Okay. So this guy goes next. Okay. All right. I think because of the injury and his distraction, I'm going to use 2 threat here. And he's going to pull Caius in front of him to create a truth himself, to kind of use him as a shield. But I say because he's winged, he's not, it just takes a lot more time for him to do that. So that's his major action. Although I could give him another. Yeah, I'm gonna use 2 more threat to give him another major action. And let's see if he is able to stabby at poor Caius. And Caius, of course, is still struggling. So he kind of pulls him in front of him and then tries to stab him like in the kidney or something like that, in the side. You've seen that many a time in many a movie. All right. So
Caius needs to have a good dodge reflex.
yeah, so I am going to roll for, let's see, this guy it's
Just gonna do his best Bill the Butcher impression from Gangs of New York.
Yeah. So it is, there it is. So okay, 11 is my target number. So this is for the attacker. Oh, that's good for you guys. But 1 success. However, Caius is going to try to roll out of it, or struggle to roll out of it. So I will roll for him. And he's got 1 success. So that makes 0 successes, right? So Caius is able to struggle a bit and not get stabbed. His tunic gets ripped. And you guys got another momentum. So Gino, it is your turn. I'm not going to use that 2 threat to interrupt.
I'm not a particularly proficient fighter, but
Can you heal the guy at all? Cast it or
well, not Right. Well,
They're not
I
really in
might
the
be able to.
spell.
Okay, so here's what I might be able to do is I could potentially I have a couple of different spells, and one of them is the Bounty of Balder.
Hmm.
Um, what how far are we from our caravan master?
Um, I'd say you're probably, yeah, this doesn't do like in feet, it does
Yeah, it does range.
like range bands. So let me give you the appropriate range band.
Basically, I need to be in close to give him most of my buffs. So if I'm not in close, I can move up and get to close first, is I think the thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at to see what those definitions are.
If I remember correctly, weren't they like close, close, near, and far?
No, close, medium, oh, zones. There it is. Zones. Reach is like the this attacker is in reach with Caius, the
Yeah, yeah.
caravan master. Close is, in the same zone. Medium is an adjacent zone. I would say since you were like trying to hide and duck, I'd say you're medium. And you have to
Okay.
move to close.
So I will move over to get closer to the two fighters, and then I will cast the Bounty of Balder. So I will kind of Gino, as he moves up, he's starting to move with his hands and stuff, and he kind of begins to make this sort of chanting, um uh singing a song almost, but it's words that no one ever knows. They've been given to humankind by the Aesir and by the corpse father who created the runes in the very beginning. um and he ends his chanting by drawing the rune of Algiz, and I don't know what that looks like, so we can just imagine that Igino draws it in the air. um and there's a sort of subtle kind of almost like the light catches around his fingertip as he draws it, sort of like the sort of weird after image you might get um in the kind of faint after image that your eyes might leave behind after a really bright flash or something like that, but in this shape. And I guess that's assuming that it goes off, but maybe I should roll for. I'm going to use one of our momentum,
Okay.
Mhm.
and hopefully it will work. So it's insight plus resilience,
Mm.
which I have 2 in resilience. So I'm going to use one momentum for 3 dice,
Is there
3d20.
anything I can do to aid him?
I I don't know. You're not like a caster, so
No, but she's extremely impressed.
all right. So go ahead.
Carl, how does failing a spell work in this system?
Oh, I'd like if you
Yeah, like if I try to cast and fail, do you have to pay? Is it because I think in Conan you have to pay the cost. You just don't get the benefit. You still because there oh yeah, cost is drain.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, is it like that? Okay. I'm gonna use the other momentum and give you can you split between momentum and threat for spins? I don't remember.
Yeah, you can
Um
always give me more.
yeah, so I'm gonna use the other momentum and give you 1 threat for a second die so that I am at 4 dice
All right, so
because
I guess you're gonna give me 2 threat because you're buying a second dice.
well I'm can I pay for one because it costs 2 momentum or 2 threat, and what I'm wondering is can I split the cost?
Oh no, I don't.
Because we had 2 momentum and I spent one momentum for 1
Oh
die.
yeah, I see what you're doing. Yes, you can do that. I'll let you do that.
Yeah, I guess the other way I could say I'm doing it is spending
The
one
other,
one with threat and the 2 with momentum as 1 chunk, however you want to describe. But
yeah,
anyway, 4 dice. So I'm gonna roll and then I'll roll my drain also
okay.
because so let's do this one.
What's the difficulty is 1?
Difficulty is 2, so that's a fail.
Oh, unless your focus is
It's not going to be 7.
No.
So that is a fail,
And what was the
but it doesn't
difficulty
cost
with
me anything.
the difficulty was 2?
Difficulties 2.
Yeah, so I do get a threat.
Yeah.
But would you
Because of
have
the-
anything in your truths that would help with that?
Oh, to lower the cost.
I don't think so. I don't think you can get truths that make you good at spellcasting and
Usually they
getting where
do.
Cthulhu is where spellcasting comes from. Or at least none of mine. I have well, okay, so you can use a fortune point to reroll, right?
Yes, you can.
You
Okay.
only get 1 per game, so
Well, you say that, but I have the Amulet of Tiwaz. And my Amulet of Tiwaz, in addition to its big special thing, which allows me to basically negate a supernatural attack, which is pretty cool. It counts as a good luck charm. Once per adventure, you can invoke the good luck charm the same way you would use a fortune point.
So you're
So
gonna
I'm
use
going to invoke my good luck charm to reroll my
the
4 dice.
all 4 of them or 3 of them because you got 1 success.
I guess I could roll. Yeah. I'm just going to re-roll the 3 of them that didn't succeed. That's a good
Okay.
point.
and now they're going to succeed.
2 more.
2
you got-
more.
So 1 momentum then.
1 momentum. I didn't take anything from the drain though, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
I'll put that in the pools for your reference, but you could use it. All right.
yeah. Okay, so
The
the
spell
way
succeeds.
this works is while the spell remains in effect, any attacks against the spellcaster or any of the spellcaster's allies within close range of the caster increase in difficulty by +2.
Oh, dang.
And it lasts for 4 rounds because that's my power rating.
Okay.
And then the momentum spend allows me to add some extra cover, but it seems like with we're now at +3 difficulty to this guy. So I think that's going to be enough.
Yeah, so he needs like a 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'm chanting and reached it down and grabbed my special Amulet of Tiwaz and called upon its power to make the Algus rune actually work because I thought it was going to work and it didn't, but now it did.
Yeah. All right.
Gerford is like really amazed, and she's just going to lift her hands and pray to the gods because she has now witnessed a miracle.
All right. Well, I'm going
Well,
to
it
use,
hasn't done anything yet.
well,
Oh.
we'll see. I'm going to use
She doesn't know any better.
Yeah. I'm going to use 3 of my threat to add 2 dice to the
Yep.
attacker. He's getting desperate now. He's getting his arm is kind of not working, and this guy is wriggling in his arms.
You have 3 threat,
I had 4.
but you spent a bunch. It
I
only
know,
looks like 1 on our end.
I know because I just spent 3,
Oh, okay.
but he only wow. Nice. That's great for you guys. All right. So you guys gain a momentum on that, and you got 1 success. So let's see how this helps. It does. It helped. It helped.
Yay!
So again, Caius is protected. So I guess, I don't know, how does he like wiggle out of it this time as the guy's holding him closer?
This makes me think of History of the World Part 1. They have Moses up there and he raises his arms to part the Red Sea, and there's this guy trying to steal stuff from him.
All right.
That's what I envision. Gerford is like, oh, let me over there. I'm just going to grab those shinies. He doesn't need them.
All right. So Amy, it's your turn.
That's
might have
exactly
done the-
what Gerford
might have
would
done the-
want to do.
Yeah, I might have done the order of operations wrong, but
That's
apologies.
okay. She would like to sneak, which I guess is stealth, up behind him and just stab him with the spear. I mean, obviously I can't be like right up on top of him, but it says my spear is either 3 or 4.
3 or 4, what do you mean?
I think distance wise,
Oh, it's got reach.
it's a melee weapon, reach 3 or 4.
Okay.
3 or 4. Oh wait, no, 3 with 4 piercing. Sorry, reach is 3. 4 is the damage.
Okay. All right. So
I guess she doesn't really need to sneak up.
he still needs a, yeah, you can just move up, charge up. So he's still at 2 difficulty, right?
for the 4 rounds, I thought is.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you're gonna go up there and attack. So go ahead and roll your
So that would be
brawn,
fighting, which is
fighting and brawn. Yeah, so a minor action to move up as you draw your weapon, and then
So my spell only affects his attacks. It doesn't affect his defenses.
okay. All right.
But he's got, I guess, whatever penalty he's got from the winged arrow.
But I guess
shot
you're gonna
still.
try to sneak up on him, right? Okay.
I'd like to, but do I have to roll stealth first?
Yeah, you'd have to roll a stealth if you're trying to sneak up on him, I think.
Well, I was saying I could sneak up, or I could just, you said I could just charge up behind him because he's not exactly expecting me. It's up to you, whatever you want.
Yeah, you could just charge up behind him, that's fine.
Okay. I figure I don't think he exactly recognizes we're coming, so she's gonna say a quick prayer to the gods, and here she goes. 2 successes.
Oh, that's nice. I know there's reach and guard is guard.
All
And
right.
it would be...
Oh yeah, guarding. So he really he's guarding. He's kind of looking up front, and if you just charge him, we didn't know where the arrow came from to begin with.
Mhm.
So I guess he's not guarding against her.
So this is 4.
He's kind of watching. He's kind of watching the old man come closer.
So if it's 4, then I roll the 4d6.
Yeah, I got to roll to see how.
We also, I want to do my, well, I think I should do my assist
Okay.
also, and we
she
can.
does love her mini god's assist, that's for sure.
Well, and I'm picturing, as you know, has just cast a spell, and then he reaches out and sort of points and lets out this ferocious, this kind of the death scream of the corpse lord, and it's this kind of terrifying, piercing sound that's designed to attract his attention, so that Gerfried has a free shot on this guy.
Okay. So that's that 8 again.
Yeah, this is you get 2 threat, and
Yeah, I
then
got that.
I am going to roll I'm going to do that as a gravitas thing, because that's kind of my thing. So I'll do 20.
Nice.
One more.
All right.
All right,
So
that's
you
an
got 3
extra momentum.
successes.
Yeah.
So he is. Let's see, the element's power.
So
I'm reading this. An attack against an unaware, unsuspecting foe is a surprise attack. So he's not guarding. So he doesn't. There's no opposed, I think.
Yeah, if I remember, the way it works is basically your difficulty to hit normally is based on the difference in reach.
Yeah.
Or an aware character can turn it into an opposed test.
Right.
But if they're not aware, and there's basically, like, if they don't have their spear out in front to try to hold you away, then it's just like a regular kind of normal test.
Yeah, but the reach of the spear is much more than the reach of the dagger thingy that he has. So
yeah.
Okay. All right. So you have +2 dice, +2. Well, you have 3 momentum.
Right, and then the 4d6 damage.
It's going to be 66 because the attacker is unaware.
66.
Well, you have sorry. One more is that right? So you need 2. You still need 2. No, 2 for a. No, you only need 1 then for a melee attack.
Well, I was successful. I got 2.
Yeah. Okay. So you have 2 momentum.
Okay, but
Okay.
I thought
You have 2 momentum, but you have 2 more because it's an unaware attack against an unaware opponent. You have +2 effect dice. So it's 66 damage.
66.
Nice.
Okay. Gerfried is just like, she is having an out of body playing with a god experience over here.
Oh.
And I can re-roll that 1d6, right?
There's
no reason to re-roll any of
He
those.
just did
Those are
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points of damage.
9 with a pierce.
Piercing with a pierce.
Yeah.
He goes down. You run him through
Gerfried would like to
with the 2
turn over
injuries.
to Igno and say, no one would be overly impressed by this, except, I am so impressed. You must have really brought Odin's ravens with you.
Mhm. But Egina will say, that was a mighty strike, Gerfried. Would have slain one of the wolf sons of Rome, even in their iron armor.
She's gonna definitely bow and be extremely thankful. I mean, she already saw you as a god, so she is just like totally in, into it right now. She'll definitely, go to
Meanwhile,
the temple later.
Caius is like, if you're done talking, a little help here.
Yep.
I'm like, I can't heal him. So while he's healing him, I'm gonna go dig through that other guy's pockets looking for shiny treasure.
Yeah, that
So,
guy is not quite dead. The guy, so you could actually, so I mean, technically, I guess he's a trooper and he's down and dying. The guy that you took out, so he's defeated, right?
well, maybe we should like try to talk to him before he dies, before we heal Caius. If we can just stabilize Caius for a second, I can tend to him in a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna see.
But we could.
I mean, you want her to interrogate him while you heal, or
Well,
you
I
want
was
to
gonna say
interrogate him?
I could interrogate. I actually get a bonus when trying to bring people around to my way of thinking.
Well, then you definitely do it.
So I'm pretty good at interrogating. If you want to just stabilize Caius.
I don't have any healing.
Well, I think it's a free, if I remember, if it's like Achtung Cthulhu, it's one of the one of the actions in combat that anybody can do is
Oh yeah, let me look at that.
stabilize.
Yeah, let me look at that.
And I don't remember if it's a skill roll or not.
I mean, he's not. I mean, he see what it says here. See, yeah. So the villager managed to attack twice, but he only got one hit because of your spell.
Yeah.
So he's got a serious, like, he's got an injury, but it wasn't a fatal blow. So
I have rope
and
a blanket of fur.
Give him a tourniquet around the midsection.
Could do that. How about if I just put my hands there and hold pressure so he doesn't continue to bleed?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's just enough to keep him.
Okay.
Just enough,
All right. So I think this guy here.
But she wants to take his shiny and everything away from him, Hold the wound with one hand, pickpocket with the other.
Who
Or she could just outright ask him.
Who, Caius? You're gonna Caius?
No. The guy I'm trying not to totally let die, because,
All right, so you're gonna attend to Caius first, while Gerfried just holds the pressure on this guy who's bleeding out.
And I'm rummaging through his pocket.
So go ahead and
yeah, that's my thought. Is as long as we can keep him alive for a little while, I'm going to make sure Caius isn't dying, and then
okay, yeah, go ahead. That's a coordination plus medicine.
Yeah. All right.
And it's the focus of field treatment counts.
I do have field treatment. My coordination and medicine are not super good. What do I need for Caius to
I think you just need he didn't take a strike at all. Right? He didn't take a strike.
Just whatever happened before, like in the prologue.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just one. Yeah, just one difficulty.
All right. I'm going to use one momentum to have 3 dice, because that always feels nicer. 20. Okay. And then I have 7 coordination and 2 medicine, but I do have field treatment. So it's a 9.
That was a lot of damage.
Ones and 2s.
2 successes.
Nice.
Oh, nice. That you got your momentum back then.
Yep, the one momentum back, and Caius stabilized.
He's like, oh, thank you.
Gerford
We need
wants
to
to
get
tell
to,
him, look, you need to worship the god.
because I worship many gods. We need to get to Loop Ford as quickly as possible to get help. We can't be out here. All right. The other guy. That's gonna be a little tougher.
Yep.
Oh, did you get under your medicine with the 6 or an 8?
No,
Okay.
I only have it. I don't think you can get more than 5 in a skill. I think that's
Yeah, that's probably
your
true.
highest for your double success zone.
Right. That's probably true. Okay. I think you have 4 in medicine though. No, 2.
No, I have 2 in medicine, but I do have field treatment. So
Okay.
a 1 or
Alright.
a 2 would be a double success.
All right. This guy is a little tougher, but I'll let
Anything I can do to help?
I'll let you roll your
I have wood crafting.
no, but I mean you have survival. I'll let you roll your survival.
My survival is 3.
Yeah,
And
but
what would survival go with?
what I mean, if you were trying to save someone, what would it be? Would it be intelligence, just like wisdom for the feel? So reason, insight.
Well, I mean, I would prefer to use insight because I have an 11, but that doesn't, I mean, I don't know, I'm trying to coordinate him not bleeding out for a moment.
Well, I think agility, it would be agility, I think, because isn't agility like fine motor skills?
It's probably coordination because that's
Oh
what
yeah,
the
hand skills, yeah.
yeah the
Okay.
main
Yeah, you could do
Nice.
coordination and
Okay, so that's
survival.
2d20
Just
under
no,
11.
you roll 1 dice because you're aiding. You're
Okay,
gonna aid.
one d20.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's under 11.
Yeah.
Come on, under 11.
No.
1 away. Can I spend luck? Wait, wrong game.
Well, yeah, no. All right. Okay, this might be a little harder because Gerford jacked this guy up. So
All right. Well,
I'm gonna say sorry, God. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna go big and do all of our momentum plus 1 threat for 4 dice.
okay.
Since I think we're gonna need a fair few successes to get this guy. Or I don't know. I don't really want to spend my 1 fortune point because I already spent.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
have a
spent
special.
he's not worth it.
Well,
I
we'll
mean,
see.
all we
That's what
need
I'm
him
saying
is
is that
conscious enough.
I don't think it's worth it, but I already, if I hadn't needed to spend on the good luck with the good luck charm, I could use that because I have a talent for being cool under pressure with medicine, but it
Oh
costs
yeah,
a
the cool
fortune
under you
point.
could. Oh, the cool under pressure is a fortune point.
Yeah, cool under pressure is you can spend a fortune point to automatically pass basically any test of whatever difficulty and generate no momentum. Which is a really cool, like, get out of jail free, but you have to have your fortune point left for that. So we'll see. All right, I'm gonna roll the 4 dice, trying to get under a 9.
It probably wouldn't
So
be
that's
helpful.
2 successes.
Oh,
Because the 1 counts
it's
double
10
since
is
I've got
not.
the
Yeah, 2 successes.
yeah. 10 is not quite good enough for me, unfortunately. I'm not as coordinated as I used to be back when I was young.
Oh yeah.
You know how it is. Traded my physical strengths for mental and presence bonuses and things like that. Yeah.
It's all good. We still love you.
Okay, start.
She wants to know if
Okay.
Igna wants her to go over and cut some meat off of the dying animal so that we have food for our travels while you interrogate this guy. Because maybe he'll be a little more willing to talk to you if the one that stabbed him wasn't standing over him.
Yeah, because I think you could because you got that crit that saves him. Okay. I mean, he's got bad injuries and he'll die of infection if left out here. And you guys are going to have to fashion. Well, I mean, you don't have to roll for this, Gerfred. You've got survival and hunting. You can make like a.
Well, I have woodwise too.
Yeah, you can have to make like a travois for this guy, and then for Caius, you're going to have to like help him along. So one of you's going to have to help him along. One of you's going to have to drag a travois.
Well, are any of the wagons, any of the wheels still good?
Like, what are you trying to do?
Put some wheels on it, like maybe build one working cart. Because I can't imagine all the animals are dead, are they?
Yeah, They're dead or run away.
But we can at least get them on the cart, and then 2 of us pulling at the same time is better than just one person pulling a dead weight, right?
I think it depends on how far we need to go and therefore how much time we want to spend
Yeah.
kind of prepping for travel
Yeah.
versus.
So I mean, Caius is like, no, we can't. It just takes too long. Takes too long. Just leave them. He says.
We need the information. Plus, I'm gonna go cut meat off so that we have food for our travels. And I get a +1 to all my tests with that.
Oh, so he does. So the attacker does come too, by the way.
Mhm.
So while
Nice.
Gerfred is looking around to fashion something, you might be able to, like, make it so that it slides and moves easier. I'm cool with
Yeah.
that. But I don't think you can get a whole wagon. These are like big wagons.
Well, but if I can just, I'm sure there's a wagon that there's 2 wheels still left on it that we could drag him on that instead of.
Oh yeah, make like a makeshift like hand cart. I gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could do that. That's no problem. So Gerfred's gonna do that. Caius is kind of looking at you cynically, muttering something in Latin. So yeah, if you wanna, okay, yeah, you can make a grabby test plus persuasion test if you'd like to ask this guy questions.
Oh, not me.
Oh, I'm really
Gino,
good.
Gino.
And you have a thing.
Yeah, so I have a lot of gravitas and persuasion.
Okay, and
Plus, I have silver tongued, which allows you to influence people to adopt your views quickly and effectively when attempting to sway someone to your way of thinking or haggle over the price of an item. You reduce the difficulty of your persuasion-based test by 1.
all right. So this is going to be a difficulty 0 test.
Oh, I'm gonna get so many momentum.
Mhm.
Hopefully.
One hopes.
All right.
All one. All ones.
All right. I'm going to give you one more threat for 3 dice
Mhm.
on this roll because I've got a 5 persuasion 5 with
Wow.
charm and invocation, and I assume that those charm seems like what I'm doing. So I'm hoping to get some extra success.
Yeah, charm is good.
And then that is a total of 16 for my normal. All right.
Okay.
Let's roll.
3 successes. So you got 3
So
momentum.
that's actually 5 successes because both
Oh,
of
wow.
those 3s are under my skill rating.
Woo-hoo!
Okay. So that's 5 successes.
5 successes.
All right. So you can get 3 pieces of information and then still bank 2 momentum if you wish.
Yeah. Do I have to come up with what questions the piece of information are for, or do you just tell us that?
I just tell you.
All right, cool. Let's just do that.
All right. So the attacker is you realize he's a Germanic villager. He tells you, willing to tell you his name. His name is Walthram, and he's lived in the village of Loopford his entire life.
Tell
he
by
actually
his trousers.
And he served in the militia. He had, I have no memory of the attack or any idea why it happened. I have no animosity towards Romans or especially, and you are German, he says. And
All
you don't
Germans
even
have a little animosity towards Romans.
well, because your tribe is not we're not enemies, you and your tribe and mine. You don't have to roll, but I mean, I'll just give it to you since you rolled so well. He's not lying.
Yep. Cool.
He seems sincere. Okay.
Yeah.
He looks around and he seems very shocked and dismayed. And he says that the other ones are other civilians from Loopford. We are not, he actually uses the term berserkers. We are not berserkers. Because there are farmers, cobblers, a local cattleman, his son, the blacksmith's apprentice. He looks like he's in shock.
Mm.
And then when he sees the bodies, he looks like he's overcome with shock and grief, and he mumbles as he passes out, "It's that damned curse."
Just throw him on the cart.
Yep.
Worry about him later. Because
All right,
I'm
so
assuming Gerfred got enough food and stuff.
it is true. You look around the slain attackers. There are about 8 of them, mixed genders, and they do not appear to be looking like German warriors anyway. They do look like German villagers. Now that you're taking stock, and the weapons available are like a farm and household implements. So Gerfred can see all this stuff while she's making her cart. And then, like
Yeah.
since you both are German, then you realize that they did act like berserkers, but they are not. They don't have the tattoos or the the discolored lips that they from the type of.
Would Gerfred, when she's looking at them, see any of them that have the same mark that she keeps covered on her shoulder from when those evil spirits got to her?
No. If anyone has a cult, they can make or an occult background. I guess that's. Oh, I guess Gerfred, both
Kind of
Gerfred and
does.
Egino could make an insight academia or reason academia.
Insight. I don't have academia. I just have insight.
Okay, so you should just roll your reason.
Reason?
Yeah.
I have reason or I have insight?
You can use insight or reason and just roll 2d20 against that. And you
Okay.
can, Egino, you can make it insight plus academia.
220 under 11. 220.
That's awesome. You got 5 successes.
1 for me.
Wow. Gerfred's got
Oh,
2.
nice.
2.
Gerfred is all about it. Because she has that
Touched by shadow, right?
touch by shadow. And that is, hold on, I'll tell you what it is. It's down here. At least I thought it was down here. Guess not. Maybe it was up here. I don't know. Anyway, she
All
has
right.
the touch by shadow.
All right, so you feel, since you have touched by shadow, you don't get any momentum. And Egino, you're perplexed, and maybe you feel sad that all these villagers, something weird, strange happened to them.
It is
But
strange that they would fight as such. None of them sanctified to the corpse lord of war.
Because they weren't worshiping you. She's convinced now that you're totally a god. It was a rumor, but now she's pretty certain of it.
she thinks you're Odin or Tiwa's reincarnated, Egino.
Even though I have both hands and both eyes.
Yes. You have to
It
cut off.
says,
You might have to cut off your hand or take out an
Carl,
eye.
it says my touch by shadows is what gives me numb to horrors.
Yep.
So for some reason, blood, death, and violence don't affect you mentally. You increase your courage resistance by 6 when making those tests.
So it's a talent and a truth, I guess.
Yeah, but you cannot add any other source of courage resistance. You may re-roll any d20 skills to determine whether you gain a mental scar, which I didn't.
Right. Okay. Anyway, you feel that a potent supernatural influence was involved in the attack, and they were definitely not acting out of their own volition.
So Gerfred wants to lean over to Igno and say, I bet you the Romans are to blame. Can't trust any of them. You know, their money spends just as well as any other, but can't trust them.
Okay. All right.
And she'd like to take a moment to see if anyone else is alive.
No one's alive.
No one else.
Highest does, since he did help him, he does take the pouches of the slain merchants.
Excuse me. Those can lie in the wagon till we get to where we're going.
I am the caravan master. We must keep at least what we have left.
And it can ride in the cart because you only have life because the god here saved you.
He says something again in Latin under his breath.
Can Gerfred ask Igno for permission to stab him?
After we went to all the work to save him.
He wouldn't even notice.
All right, so he reluctantly, if you threaten him, he mutters something again, but he reluctantly throws the pouches into the cart. but then sits in the cart as well. So you guys both have to haul them. But he points a direction at least.
Typical Roman.
All right.
Gerford wants to make sure that the one that we saved has eyes on that money and eyes on that Roman, because if he pulls anything,
That
she
guy's
wants him to
unconscious.
push him
That
out.
guy's Waltham is unconscious.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that. He could just think that he's sleeping.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you guys didn't get any stress at all in the last scene, normally you'd remove the stress. And normally I would take away a momentum from the pool as well. So that is what happens when you change scenes. So, so there we go. That is what happens. So it is close to nightfall before you reach the village. The narrow trail cutting through the forest, hemmed in with dark pines, opens onto the outskirts of a Germanic settlement. Its thatched huts and buildings built close together within the long shadows of the surrounding forest. In cleared areas stand small and squalid farms, no bigger than can feed a single family. Many looking overgrown and poorly tended, scrawny cattle and goats peer at you balefully before lowering their heads to chew on the sparse vegetation. The huts on the periphery are dark and quiet. A few sullen workers are tilling the fields, struggling with heavy plows, while others are lugging bulging sacks into barns or onto rickety wagons, almost deliberate in ignoring their surroundings. It's difficult, actually, to gauge the number of villagers who live in the place, though you see the roof of a larger structure, what seems to be the village center, so like the long hall, the large wooden hall. Has a high sloped walls fronted by a pair of stout oak doors. That seems to the place to go, and I will switch people's scenes. Look at that, we made it to scene 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ooh. It's very brown.
Just give me a sec to resize everything. Because each
Just out of
square is 75 feet.
Yeah, just out of curiosity.
You guys are coming from here.
Yeah. Does Gerford see any of them that need her help? Maybe because she's pretty apt to not keep pushing this Roman around because he's not really pulling his own weight, and she kind of feels
So
like
this is a long hall that you see, the long hall right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you want to go out and help them?
Well, I would think so, because I mean, she wants to make a good impression. We're coming into their village. We want to talk to them about what's been going on, and the one that Igno saved probably needs somewhere to rest for a bit, some water and food. And I'm thinking she would probably want him to see like the local soothsayer too, right? Not that they're Vikings, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to go. It's going to
What do
be
you
hard
think,
for
Igno?
it's going to be hard for Gino to haul this cart over
Well,
to here without you.
well, no, I mean she would pull it over there, but
Okay.
in her opinion, the Roman needs to get out and help pull the cart somewhere else, but he shouldn't enter the longhouse until he's helped others. Plus, she doesn't like him very much.
He's not going to do it.
She'll take the coins with her then, or at least ask Igno to hold them. She doesn't trust him. And she can throw him pretty far, and she doesn't trust him very much.
Okay. So you want to go out like to the back and see if you can help these people. Well, Gino, you're going to help these injured folks inside.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it seems like that. I go inside and see if there's a local authority that we can talk to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you go inside So I mean, you go and help. You just go there and help. Don't talk to them or anything, Amy, your character.
Well, she would talk to the villagers, but she wouldn't help the Roman, that's for sure. He can just sit in the cart and wait for all she cares.
Okay, so give me
She's gonna mutter under her breath that, she's like, misbehave and I'll kill you later.
Yeah. All right. Before we go inside, I'll just go give me an insight and observation, Gerfried, as you.
Can you give me just a sec?
Okay. Like a pause sec.
Yes. All righty. So I have an insight of 11.
Yep.
And then you wanted me to use my observation, which is 5. So it's 2d20s under 16.
Right. And would you like to, you guys gave me a lot of threat already. All right.
I don't know that I need to give you any more threat than you already have. But what say you, Igno?
We have 1 momentum, so you might as well. I mean, if you've got the general kind of logic of these 2d20 games is to, whenever you have a good score, go ahead and use your momentum because you're likely to get it back.
Get more, yeah.
Okay, so if I use a momentum, or do I have to use a momentum for keen-eyed?
Oh, what does keen eye do?
It ups my observation by 1, so that it'd be 2d20. Let me read it, because it's interesting and I don't remember the exact wording and I don't want to say the wrong thing. Your eyesight, it doesn't say anything about
Oh, your increased difficulty perception for beyond close is reduced by 1. Okay. Increases it decreases the difficulty.
Right, by 1, but you increase the effective range of any ranged weapon, but I'm not using that to maximum of extreme range. But it would just lower it by 1.
Oh, right. So then you're rolling. Okay. Okay. So lowers the difficulty by 1. Got it.
And then the momentum, if I use the momentum, what would that do?
It just gives you another
Just
dice.
adds an extra die. Yeah.
Okay, so 3d6 or
3d20
under 16. Okay. Then that's what I'll do.
Okay.
We go. Yeah.
Wow.
3 successes.
Nice.
All right. So you have 3 momentum. Because you have 3 momentum. Oops. -1 because you used 1.
She wants to tell Igna that she's so incredibly inspired by him that she is going to go help the masses now.
Right. So, yeah. You see the people look around. They, do you talk to them, or I guess you talk to them or no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So some of them look like, yeah, there we go. Some of the people out there, even though they're working or they have to work, they do look like they have been in a recent scuffle, torn clothing. Yeah, quite a few of them. Some people there, and they look kind of there's a general like I don't know, sad's not the right word, but a generally like trying to hide a tragedy, I guess, if that makes sense.
So they're hiding information from me.
They don't stop you when you help them. They nod and stuff like that. But then you look around and you see some people that are putting stuff away into these barns have been in a fight. I mean, so I guess if you use a momentum, I can give you more information.
Sure, we'll use 1.
Okay. I would say also you feel like you recognize some of these people.
Like
I-
as in they were in my village and now they're not, or
No, like they were in the fight that you just had. Like you're
no.
pretty sure.
So does that mean they're not trustworthy?
I don't know. It's up to you. They don't seem to be hostile towards you.
Hmm.
I mean, it's up to you if you want to confront them or not.
No, I think she would ask them if there's anywhere that we could buy horses and a carriage because ours were unfortunately lost,
They laugh, say, "No, no, we are a very poor village."
but we would purchase them from you.
They go, "We don't. I don't think we have that stuff here in the." We might have an old mare or two in the village, but that is about it.
Mm. But you probably need them to help pull your plows.
Perhaps. All right. So let's jump to, while you do that, we'll jump to Arlen.
Mhm.
All right. So you go into the large wooden hall, and an old woman outside tends a pair of elderly goats as you approach, but then stops her work to rest, and she perches on a wooden stool. She greets you warily. When she sees Waltham, however, Waltham, even though he is wounded, and she's thankful and receptive. And she says, what happened? She expresses her concern. Um, she she does see Caius though, and she looks at him sort of coolly. So how do you respond?
Um,
But she is like moving to help Waltham at least.
I will say, we were traveling in a merchant caravan which was attacked. Do you know this man?
She goes, yes, yes. He is Waltham. He lives here in the village.
Hmm. He did not know what he had done after he was wounded in combat. Do you know anything about the curse upon this village? And I will say, I have come seeking to understand an ancient curse laid upon my own lands, so I sympathize.
She goes, she looks around. She goes, perhaps we should get inside and talk about it there.
Very true. Some things not appropriate to speak of.
So you should call
Under.
she kind of, she definitely has seen you coming up the road. So she said, you should call your companion in as well.
Hmm. So I will kind of tap Caius and gesture and say in my thickly accented Latin, go grab Gerfrid and bring her to the hall. Because he can walk by himself right now, right?
Well, yeah, you've been pulling him around all day.
Yeah, yeah. So he's recovered. Basically, I want a chance to talk with this lady alone for a second without him as part of it.
Yeah.
And also to go have him take care of that.
All right. So he
'Cause
kind
I
of
don't
looks
want
at
to.
you. He looks at you like, and then I guess grouses about, having to get up and his side still hurts. But he doesn't.
Yeah.
He starts limping, makes a big
You
deal
know
out
why
of the limp.
Romans wear togas, don't you? Because they don't want to move faster than a slow walk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So when he was grumbling under his breath in Latin, he's probably saying something like stinking Germans.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, So she goes, that man has been avoiding loop fort of late. Been more than half a year since he's brought any trade our way. Too good for this village, I guess. Or maybe your coin leaves a stain in his palms.
Mm.
So she's a little smug about him wanting to help him. She tells you that she points out Waltham's house, but over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a short walk from your location. He has been having some family trouble of late, and I think his spouse is left with the children. So maybe it's better if we take him inside. Please help if you can.
Yeah, I can help out.
All right. So Caius comes in to retrieve you, Gerfred.
Okay.
Says the old lady wants to talk to you, you folk.
Oh, now would be a wonderful time to take the meat that I found in, and we'll have a big banquet. Because this town looks as though they're starving. So I feel as though we should make food available for them. Are they not part of your precinct?
What?
What? I mean, aren't you over them? Aren't you supposed to help feed them and
I'm just the
give
caravan
them
master.
money? Oh, well then, no reason for you to come in. You can stay in the wagon then. She'll make sure she grabs the money and the meat and goes inside.
He still follows, though limping a bit. Or do you not let him in?
I'll close the door behind me. Whether or not he can open the door and walk
Oh
in
yeah,
is
he does.
on him, but
All right. Well, this woman introduced herself as Miltrude, by the way. And Miltrude offers you shelter if you wish to stay the night.
yes, but she'll say that that one that's with us, all he did was ride the whole time, so I think he'll prefer to sleep in the cart outside.
All right. And then she says, because I believe this town is cursed. She does after she feeds you. She feeds you what she can. You know, it's a meager food and drink,
Well,
but the place is safe
I would have
and
given
dry.
the meat to her, what we
Oh,
could
oh, you mean like
spare.
dead mule?
Yeah, I mean it's better than nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, okay, it's true. I mean, Romans eat dormice, so ate dormice.
Well, I mean, if I had a choice, I don't think day old mule would be what I would want, but you know.
Yeah. Well, it's meager. The food is meager fare. It's just like kind of gruel
Mhm.
and like on a stew that's been going on. It might be okay. All right. So she tells you that I fear angering the gods and believe this town is cursed. And I want to discuss the town's troubles because it might draw the gods' attention, which I've been laboring to avoid. Bad things happen to those who have complained. And even now, a usual number of strange deaths have occurred. Many the result of angry encounters between villagers. Other villagers have simply disappeared. And then most of these things happen at night, but not all the time. This is probably where you want to use your gravitas and persuasion to see if you want to.
Well, can mine lean over to her and say, I have a secret. And the secret is my companion, in my opinion, is a god. So he will protect the town. Should see the wondrous things he can do
So that's
with
your
just a
truth.
prayer.
Is that your truth? You
That's what
believe
I
in
think. I think
Gino
that's what
is that your truth? You believe that Gino is a god?
that's what I was gonna make it.
Okay. How do you feel about that, Harlan?
I'm still not sure where this particular belief came from.
Did you just cast magic and stuff? And
Well, yeah, but he clearly calls upon the other gods to cast the magic, right? Be like saying a cleric's a god because they, cast a healing spell that comes from their deity.
I know, but
She's just a simple person though.
she's been touched by shadow. Who knows?
Mm.
I mean, Gerford is a little off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will say to Mildred, I do not know what my companion, she has strange ideas sometimes. But I can say that I know that there is no shadow cast without a source. And if there is a source, my companion and I may be able to help deal with whatever
You
has
should
cast such a
see.
shadow over your town.
Yeah, but you should see.
Yeah,
My companion has to be a god because he has kept not one, but two people from the eternal sleep. And here they are walking, and one is from your village.
So Amy, roll me a gravitas plus persuasion.
Is this using my truth? Because I don't know how
No,
my truth is
it's an
going to
opposed
affect the darn
roll.
thing.
It's an opposed roll, so
Okay, gravitas and what?
and persuasion.
Um. Oh, persuasion is. What's persuasion then?
So just roll your gravitas.
Right, but you
2d20.
wanted me. I mean, that's an attribute, but what skill does it go with?
No,
Observation?
gravitas and persuasion. If you don't have persuasion, just roll gravitas.
No, persuasion doesn't exist in this game.
Yeah, doesn't it? It does.
Yeah, it does.
You just don't have the skill.
Oh. 7. So 2d20 under 7?
Yes.
That ain't gonna happen.
It might. You only need one.
She is really convinced, though.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I'm doing this.
And she gets 1. And it's a 1.
2 successes. Wow. Okay. She does earn you a momentum. So the woman asks, now you have to, now this might cause a increased difficulty for your gravitas and persuasion.
Me?
No, Arlen.
I'm sorry.
So the woman, because based on the conversation that's been happening, the woman says, who is superstitious already, says, so you have come to punish us then? She looks like at a Gino.
No, it's not punishment that I dish out. I'm just here. We're simple travelers, hoping for some solace, and if possible, we will return whatever solace can be granted to us with helping out your town from under its shadow.
All right, so give me gravitas and persuasion.
Isn't persuasion observation?
No. That would be perception and observation.
Oh, okay.
And I'll go ahead and use a momentum for 3d20.
That momentum I got you, that's going to make things harder for you. Sorry. But
Yeah,
that's the only
it's
truth I
okay.
could think of.
That's fine. Oops. 3
You got
successes.
3.
Jeez.
That's
Okay.
all 3.
Okay. All right. So that's going to gain you. Because of the truth that Amy's character has created for you, where Mildred believes you're a god or representative of a god. The difficulty was 2, but you have like silver tongue, right? So I guess that keeps it. Okay. That kind of cancels that out. Okay, so I'll give you 2 momentum here. So what does that put you at? 4 momentum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So you
I
got
spent 1
you have
and
2.
plus 2.
Yeah, you have 2 that you can use if her answers aren't satisfying, but she does. I believe that the farrier Alfred has had some recent trouble and might be connected.
Mm.
I believe there is, like you said, there is shadow here.
I've been touched by shadow.
And I guess with those,
So
you can use
Can
those
I-
2 momentum for something if you want to do something with them.
well, I want to start by asking Mildred, why do they have a farrier and yet no horses for sale, apparently?
Because, well, he doesn't have a lot of work. There are a couple old mares in the village.
Yep. Okay. Can I ask her about what kind of trouble he might have been having recently?
All right.
I'm happy to spend momentum for information, of course.
All right. Yeah, I'll give you, and then I'll let you spend one momentum for that. And she gives you some info dump, and we'll
Mhm.
probably stop it after this and to continue at a later date. But she says, yes, well, you know that she's hiding something. So as you eat and you press and you finally get that mule meat into the stew, not as bad as you would have thought. Um, she says, I believe this family that has lived here for a long time, many generations, each heir seems crueler and more vindictive than the last. But as you will protect us, I will tell you. Perhaps it will be my death knell or my final thoughts or words. I thought that Gislin would be different. He used to be friendly when he was younger, but clearly I was wrong. This Gilson, Gis, this Gislin is the one who has been giving Alfred trouble. So you can talk to him to corroborate this. But the change in Gislin's demeanor was very recent, within the last few months. I suspect he was only feigning kindness when for years he was doing his cruel things in secret. His ancestors are said to have consorted with unnatural spirits and from them learned to invoke curses and perform other unsavory magic. He has a younger brother. We haven't seen him for a while. And Gislin has attracted strange followers. And I feel one of those cults has taken over the town. And they must be behind the curse.
A mystery cult, like the followers of Mithras or Isis, or, all sorts of other weird Cthulhu demons.
Yes.
You're not scared of them, are you, Igno?
But
Always pays to be wary when dealing with things such as
but
these.
yes,
I'm sure you have oodles of courage. And if you don't, I am there. I'm right there with you, walking in the shadow of a god.
all right. Well, with that, I think we'll stop. It's probably a good little teaser and intro and a taster of the Cohors Cthulhu, and we will definitely want to continue it. I know we're pausing mid-scene while you are exploring the village, but you found some information and now you can investigate or just sleep on it since it is late. And then we'll pick things up next time, I hope, and maybe pick up some other survivors if other people want to join us. So, all right. So thank you so much, Arlen and Amy. And I think it was really good that because we went kind of slowly through it. And it really explained how to use the meta currency and how to walk through like spell casting and fighting and some of the little nuances that this game has. But hey, we've made it through one fight scene and into an information scene. So what do you guys think? Or are you curious? Is
I
it
think it's
interesting?
fun. I think they need to, like, subscribe, and share, and make sure
Sure.
their notifications are on so they don't miss the next time.
Yeah.
What say you, Arlen?
Sounds like a good way to prepare for Cthulhu shenanigans, certainly.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And with nothing more to say, we just say good night and good rolling.